Let's say, okay, we're going to write the great American novel. It's going to be this thick. And on every page will be written comedy and tragedy, and it'll be wonderful. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. And you're going to give this book, this great American novel, to the player. And what are they going to do with it? They're going to rip out every page and make paper airplanes out of them.
We are all cavemen. We are all Neanderthal in Bethesda's little fantasy world. Not only are we stupid from a storytelling standpoint, but we are stupid in ways that Bethesda thinks that they can squeeze every little last buck out of us. From releasing 7 different Skyrim remasters for us to buy, from trying to lock certain mods behind a paywall, what actually made Bethesda this greedy company who thinks we are just stupid and continues to feed us slop and false promises? If you're a fan of gaming videos, please be sure to subscribe. I post weekly videos which I'm sure you'll enjoy. But now let's talk about Bethesda's deserved and greedy downfall, and some of the factors that really played into this. Once upon a time, in a world where video games were beginning to stretch their narrative and exploratory wings, Bethesda Game Studios emerged as a beacon of innovation and wonder. Yes, can you believe it? This was their golden age, a period where they crafted experiences that would become legendary, not just within their community, but across the entire gaming industry. The third Elder Scrolls game, Morrowind, released in 2002, where Bethesda introduced players to a world unlike any other. Vvardenfell was a living, breathing map where every NPC had a name, a backstory, and got a role. The freedom to explore the depth of the lore and the choice-driven gameplay set new standards for what an RPG could be, and should be. Then followed by Oblivion's open world revolution. Although streamlined, it was still a fantastic title. Oblivion took what Morrowind started and polished it for a broader audience. The game introduced a more accessible interface, dynamic quest system, and a world that felt alive with dynamic day and night cycles and weather systems. It was here that Bethesda fully embraced the concept of the open world, a term that would often define their reputation. But where it really took off was with Skyrim. Skyrim just truly transcended gaming. It was an absolute juggernaut, becoming a part of pop culture with memes, mods, and even mainstream references. The game's open world exploration, coupled with the intricate lore and a combat system that felt more accessible, really brought in millions of new fans. Now, I talk about intricate lore, however, but I'll just quickly note, you only found that intricate lore when you actually searched for it. I do wish it was kind of incorporated more into the game. As well as that, Skyrim's modding community turned the game into an ever-evolving platform where players could not only extend the game's life, but redefine it entirely. From graphical overhauls to new quests, the game's modding scene was, and still is, a testament to Bethesda's philosophy of player creativity. Skyrim offered endless replayability. It was a game where every journey could feel unique depending on how you wanted to play it, and every player had their own story to tell. But with Skyrim in particular, and in generally with this golden age of Bethesda, it wasn't just about the narratives or even the games themselves. Bethesda's writing has never been too strong and pretty much has been abysmal as of lately, even in Skyrim. It was more about the culture, the community, and a sense of wonder that they enlisted in gamers. Bethesda was seen not as a developer but as a dreamweaver, crafting realms where players could lose themselves in adventure, mystery, and just the sheer joy of exploration. However, as we know, every golden age can come to an end, and it certainly did with Bethesda, and the decisions made thereafter would cast a long shadow over this legacy of wonder. The transition from Bethesda's golden era to what many fans perceive as a more profit-driven approach is marked by several key changes in their business model. Probably the most scummy of them all in my opinion, and what I'm going to be talking about first is modding for money. The introduction of the Creation Club for Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition marked a significant departure from Bethesda's previous stance on modding. Traditionally, modding was a community-driven, free aspect of Bethesda games. With the Creation Club, however, Bethesda basically decided to monetize mods, offering curated paid content. This was pitched as a way to support mod creators, but it was met with significant backlash, as rightfully deserved. Fans felt this move was a betrayal of the modding culture Bethesda had helped foster, The Creation Club was seen as Bethesda trying to profit from community creations, just essentially putting a price on what had been shared freely. This sparked many debates about the ethics of monetizing mods and whether it was a genuine support for creators or just another revenue stream. The shift towards seeing games not just as products but as services was evident in Bethesda's approach to microtransactions. Fallout 4's workshop packs, which added new building pieces, were among the first signs of this terrible shift. However, it became more pronounced with Fallout 76's Atom Shop, where players could purchase cosmetic items, emotes, and even repair kits with real money. Now, this microtransaction model in Fallout 76 was particularly criticised due to the game's initial state and the perception that Bethesda was charging for content that should have really been included in the base game or available through gameplay. The introduction of a subscription service, Fallout's first, further intensified this sentiment, with fans calling the practice greedy for charging what were previously standard features or just free updates. Now, I can totally understand that every live service game does need these microtransactions to sort of live on. However, during the initial state that 76 was in, this is what really just rubbed players the wrong way, when Bethesda's main goal was basically to sell cosmetic items rather than fixing a half-working game. Another aspect of this business model shift was the move towards live service models, where games are continuously updated with new content, often tied into microtransactions. Obviously, this happened with ESO in the past with Bethesda, and this model demands ongoing player engagement and monetization beyond the initial purchase, which can then lead to focus on keeping players spending rather than solely expanding the game world or even narrative. There was a growing perception that Bethesda's focus had shifted from crafting meticulously detailed worlds to pumping out content that could be monetized. This was seen as the rapid release of Fallout 4's DLC and the continuous updates of Fallout 76, where the balance between quality and the push for additional revenue seemed to tilt. Each of these steps in the business model shift contributed to growing a divide between Bethesda and its fans. The goodwill built during the Golden Era was just being eroded by decisions that seemed to prioritize profit over player experience, leading to a community that is now more critical and less forgiving of Bethesda's moves. But that wasn't the only move that really upset Bethesda's player base. Following the extreme controversy surrounding Fallout 76, what better way to mask it than release the trailer for one of the most anticipated titles of all time? Whilst also doing that, let's twerk for Microsoft to show them why we are such a great company with such a fantastic future. Bethesda really hit two birds with one stone there. Bethesda's decision to release the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer in 2018 wasn't just about fan service. It was a calculated move to appeal to Microsoft, who would then later acquire them. With whispers of Microsoft's interest in Bethesda, the teaser for Elder Scrolls 6 was like a peacock spreading its feathers. It was Bethesda saying, "Look at the potential we have." This was a crucial move in an acquisition scenario where Microsoft would want assurances of future hits to justify their investment. By announcing a game years away from release, Bethesda was not just hyping fans, but showing Microsoft their long-term vision and commitment to creating blockbuster franchises, something that could make Bethesda an attractive asset. So by making themselves an attractive asset, they basically really upset 99% of their player base, promising a game that is probably not even in development. At the time of the Elder Scrolls 6 announcement, Fallout 76 was becoming a PR nightmare. The game launched with significant issues and the fanbase was vocally disappointed. The teaser served as a shiny distraction, a promise for better days ahead, to shift the conversation away from that current mess. Announcing a beloved series continuation amidst negative feedback was a classic PR move. It was a way to say, yes, Fallout 76 might not be what you expected, but look, we're still Bethesda that gave you Skyrim. It was about leveraging the goodwill of one franchise to mitigate the damage of another. The announcement was all about generating hype without any substance, a strategy that worked well for immediate positive PR but backfired in the long run. It was like twerking for attention. You get the eyes on you now, but what happens when the music stops? Bethesda used this teaser to manage their community's perception, diverting focus from 76 to the future. This was a move to keep fans engaged, hopeful, and perhaps more forgiving of current shortcomings. While it might have momentarily pleased Microsoft and distracted from 76, the long wait has turned to what could have been a positive into a narrative of frustration. The more time passes without updates, the more initial excitement turns into skepticism. Fans feel used, their excitement exploited for corporate maneuvers, whether to impress Microsoft or to master Fallout 76 situation. This move from Bethesda really backfired. But since we've talked about the Golden Age and what actually dragged them down, how do fans perceive Bethesda in the modern day? The once fantastic reputation that Bethesda had as a pioneer in open-world RPG gaming has significantly been challenged by the shifts in their business practices, game development approach, and the reception of newer titles like Starfield. I think it's actually super impressive I've got this far into the video without even mentioning Starfield once. That's gotta be a new record. With games like Fallout 76 launching with numerous bugs and incomplete features, Bethesda's reputation for delivering polished, immersive experience had faltered. Even Starfield, Bethesda's new ambitious IP, faced critique for its performance issues at launch. Decisions around monetization, such as the Creation Club and extensive microtransactions, have split the community. The introduction of their Constellation Edition at a high price point, coupled with its additional content strategy, further highlighted these tensions, with fans feeling both excited for new content, yet wary of the monetization approach. Media outlet and gaming pundits have shifted focus from celebrating Bethesda's innovation to critically analysing their business practices, game quality at launch, and how they manage fan expectations. Starfield's launch only added more discourse to Bethesda's current state, especially with the failed launch that they had. Beside that launch, however, the game was just very barren, and was not what you would want to expect for a modern day RPG. This only added more fan backlash and frustration, especially when everyone was anticipating a good Elder Scrolls 6 release. Starfield didn't promise many good things for the future. The gap between fan expectations and reality has widened, with Starfield adding to this narrative by not fully meeting the expectations set by Bethesda's golden era. The Elder Scrolls 6 teaser remains a symbol of promise just yet to be fulfilled. The impact on Bethesda's reputation and disalignment of its fanbase paint a complex picture. Starfield perfectly exemplifies the challenges Bethesda face in maintaining its legacy. With people already rubbed the wrong way from Bethesda's past antics, it doesn't seem like there's much promise going forward for the future of this company. The path back to trust involves not just delivering better games, but also reevaluating how Bethesda engages and respects its community, offering a reminder of what once was and what fans hope to be again. But is it too late to mend ties with the community? No, probably not. But will Bethesda actually try to mend ties with the community is a whole different question.